Have you ever noticed that the people who are hardest to manipulate never need to raise their voice? They don't beg, they don't argue, they don't get dragged into emotional storms. They simply observe. They observe in silence, with a calmness that unsettles anyone who tries to shake them. The world believes strength is loud, but the truly strong master something far rarer: inner silence. And this silence, almost invisible to everyone else, is exactly what keeps them untouchable. Today, you're going to discover the 7 silent habits of people who simply cannot be manipulated. And you might notice that some of these habits are already awakening inside you, quietly, almost without your awareness. The ancient Stoics understood that power doesn't come from winning arguments. It comes from refusing to be captured by them. Seneca said that no one can harm us unless we hand them our emotions. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that the greatest victory is mastering your own mind before the world attempts to influence it. Epictetus taught that freedom begins when you understand what is within your control and what is not. When you observe the emotionally strong, the ones who move through life with clarity and unshakable presence, you'll see that they naturally practice these principles. They don't overshare, they don't chase, they don't react impulsively, and they never trade their peace for approval. I learned this the hard way. For a long time, I was the opposite of an unmanipulable person. If someone raised an eyebrow, I felt the need to explain myself. If someone pulled away, I ran after them. If someone criticized me, I believed I had to prove them wrong. I thought this was strength. It wasn't. It was insecurity dressed as virtue. The more I tried to control how others saw me, the more control I lost over myself. It wasn't until I began studying Stoicism that I realized real strength has nothing to do with convincing people. It has everything to do with staying aligned with what you know is right. Habit 1. They listen far more than they speak, and not superficial listening. Deep, intentional, strategic listening. Manipulators want you to talk because every word exposes something about you, your fears, your doubts, your vulnerabilities. The more you talk, the more predictable you become. But strong people do the opposite. They observe. They listen not only to words, but to tone, hesitation, silence, and intention. They see far beyond the mask someone tries to wear. I remember a specific situation. Someone used to approach me saying they wanted to help, but every time I opened up, they used my own words to corner me later. I talked too much, explained too much, trusted too quickly. Then one day, I decided to simply listen. I didn't defend myself, didn't over-explain, didn't add unnecessary details. And something unexpected happened. For the first time, that person looked uncomfortable. My silence had turned into a mirror, revealing their real intentions. It was then I understood the power of listening without giving yourself away. Think about it. How many times have you given emotional ammunition simply because you said too much? How many times shared plans that weren't ready? How many times confided in someone who didn't deserve access to your inner world? Listening is a shield. When you control the flow of your words, no one controls you. And here's the interesting part. There's a second habit closely connected to this one, even more powerful. Habit 2. They don't over-explain themselves. This is one of the most uncomfortable behaviors for manipulators. People who try to control others use confusion as a weapon. They make you doubt yourself, they twist your words, they create narratives that force you to defend your character. But emotionally strong people understand a liberating truth. If someone wants to understand you, they will. If someone wants to misunderstand you, nothing you say will change that. So they stop wasting energy explaining, convincing, or defending. I spent years falling into this trap. I believed that my peace depended on being understood. When someone misinterpreted me, I explained. When someone accused me unfairly, I clarified. When someone projected their own issues onto me, I tried to show I wasn't what they imagined. I lived in a loop of justification, until one day, exhausted, I realized that nothing I said changed what that person wanted to believe. So I tried something new. I stopped explaining, and suddenly the atmosphere changed. The person who once pressured me now appeared insecure. When you don't explain yourself, you become unpredictable, and unpredictable people cannot be manipulated. Ask yourself, how many explanations do you give every day? How many times do you defend yourself against things that don't even deserve a conversation? How often do you sacrifice your peace trying to control opinions that were never in your power? Stoicism teaches that the judgment of others is outside your control. Your integrity is what matters, and your silence becomes your strength. Habit 3. They stay calm when the other person wants a reaction. This is almost a superpower. You've probably been in this situation. Someone provokes you, pushes your buttons, waits for you to explode so they can say, "See? Look how you reacted." Manipulators rely on emotional reactions. If you explode, they win. If you panic, they win. If you respond impulsively, they win. But when you stay calm, you starve them. Your calmness dismantles strategies and exposes intentions. Once, someone provoked me in front of others just to see if I'd lose control. Their goal was obvious. If I reacted, they could later use it against me. But that day I was different, more aware, more grounded. I stayed calm, breathed, and answered with a clear, steady tone. No aggression, no defensiveness, no emotional fireworks. And the person grew upset, not because of what I said, but because I refused to react. My calmness ruined their plan. How many times have you been pushed just to see how far they could take you? How many times fell into the trap of reacting too quickly? Calmness is a Stoic weapon. Marcus Aurelius said we control our mind, not external events. And when you master your emotions in moments of tension, no one can master you. Habit 4. They don't chase people, they choose them. This is liberation in its purest form. Manipulators use emotional scarcity. They withdraw affection so you'll chase them. They become distant to create anxiety. They offer crumbs so you'll crave the little they give. But strong people don't play this game. They don't beg for attention. They don't compete. They don't try to prove their worth. They simply observe who stays and who doesn't. And they let both happen. I've chased people before, many times. When someone pulled away, I tried to pull them back. When someone cooled down, I tried to warm the connection on my own. When someone offered very little, I over-delivered to compensate. It never worked. One day, tired of the imbalance, I realized a painful truth. Any relationship that requires your desperation isn't a relationship. It's emotional imprisonment. Everything changed when I stopped chasing. Not out of pride, but out of clarity. I began choosing. Choosing who made an effort. Choosing who stayed without being asked. Choosing who appreciated my authenticity without me having to perform. Healthy relationships don't require pursuit. They require presence. And presence can't be forced. Reflect for a moment. How many times have you chased someone who didn't want to be found? How many times tried to save connections that were already dead? People who cannot be manipulated understand their value and choose wisely. Habit 5. They watch patterns, not apologies. Manipulators apologize like actors. They know the right tone, the right timing, the right emotion. But apologies without change are nothing more than emotional bait. Strong people aren't fooled. They don't judge by speeches but by repetition. They don't trust promises, only consistency. I fell for this many times. Someone apologized for hurting me deeply, promised change, and for a while things improved. Then everything repeated, again and again. I used to accept apologies because I wanted to believe in the best version of people. Today I still believe in the best, but with my eyes open. Patterns never lie. Words can be beautiful, but behavior reveals everything. Maybe you've lived this too. Someone who always says, "I'll do better," but never does. Someone who keeps repeating the same harm wrapped in new excuses. Strong people don't fall for this because they learned that stability comes from consistent behavior, not emotional speeches. Habit 6. They protect their energy like it's currency, and it is. Everything costs emotional energy. Conversations, expectations, relationships, environments. Strong people know that if they don't guard their energy, the world will drain it. So they say no without guilt. They walk away without making a scene. They choose peace over proving a point. They prioritize their inner balance over outer noise. I learned this painfully. For years, I said yes to everything. Yes to draining conversations. Yes to people who only took. Yes to situations that darkened my mood. Yes to responsibilities that weren't mine. Eventually, my mind got tired and my body felt heavy. I realized I was trying to be everything for everyone while being nothing for myself. Then I finally applied Stoicism. Protect what is within your control. I started saying no, started excusing myself from draining dynamics, started stepping away from emotional chaos. And unexpectedly, my mind grew lighter, my sleep improved, my body relaxed. Small boundaries created massive inner freedom. Ask yourself, how many times have you stayed in conversations that drained your spirit? How many times kept people close who dimmed your light? Strong people refuse to apologize for protecting their soul. Habit 7. They let silence speak for them. Silence isn't the absence of a response. It is a higher response. Manipulation ends the moment you stop reacting. Without your emotion, without your attention, without your participation, the manipulator loses power. Silence exposes truths that confrontation never will. It creates distance, and distance reveals everything. I experienced this deeply. There was a moment when everything I said was twisted. Each attempt to fix things made it worse. Until one day, exhausted, I chose silence. Not out of surrender, but out of clarity. I stopped explaining, stopped reacting, stopped feeding the dynamic. And slowly the truth surfaced by itself. Without my involvement, the other person revealed exactly who they were. Silence didn't just protect me, it freed me. Perhaps you've felt this too. The more you talk, the worse it gets. The more you explain, the more you become trapped. Silence ends the cycle. It returns your power. In the end, everything comes down to this. Power isn't in reacting. Power is in choosing what deserves a reaction. When you master your impulses, no one masters you. When you choose where your energy goes, no one destabilizes you. And the more you develop these silent habits, the more you realize you're becoming someone who cannot be manipulated, not because you control others, but because you finally control yourself. If this message reached you in any way, leave a comment saying I choose peace, and make sure to subscribe to Stoic Spring. Building this habit will transform your life, because every day you'll be strengthening the muscles of your inner peace and growing in emotional maturity. The silent strength you admire in others is already within you, waiting to be awakened.